NASA believes that life can be found on Mars if our rovers dig deeper. The recently launched Perseverance rover has been on the red planet for more than a year and has made impressive findings. These discoveries from the rover are bolts from the blue and provide evidence that life might exist on Mars. Space scientists have a lot to explore on the red planet. Scientific findings have proven that it formed simultaneously with other planets in our solar system. Its formation was from an enormous spinning disk of gas and dust. Its age is estimated to be above 4.6 billion years old, the same as other planets in our solar system. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun and the smallest planet after Mercury. It is a dusty desert planet with a very thick atmosphere. But like our tiny blue home, Earth, Mars is a dynamic planet, owing to its seasons, polar ice caps, canyons, extinct volcanoes, and evidence of more activities in the past. According to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, or NASA, Mars is quite similar to Earth, and they are in fact like two siblings who have grown apart, and there were instances when these two were as similar as twins. For example, the same warm, shrouded and thick atmosphere, but as time passed, the two planets also took different paths. As such, there are various strange things on Mars that one is not likely to see on Earth. Perseverance is not the only space exploration rover NASA sent to Mars. Probes and other rovers have been sent even from before Perseverance was launched. All these have made terrifying discoveries coupled with stunning images. Speaking of NASA's exploration rovers, they are space mission robots constructed to explore Mars to ease the findings of our astronomers and other space scientists. In total, NASA has 5 rovers to Mars, and they have all gone on missions to Mars. These rovers are Spirit, Opportunity, Curiosity, Perseverance, and Sojourner. Great choice of names, NASA. Every world power seeks to master interplanetary exploration. The United States is not alone in its quest for life beyond our planet. The Soviet Union had also landed on the red planet. China also sent its Zhurong rover to the planet in the Far East. NASA has affirmed that its rover can determine the distribution and composition of minerals, rocks, and soil surrounding the landing sites. It characterizes the mineralogy and textures of rocks and soils and figures out the processes that made them up. Curiosity remains the most prolonged and heaviest rover on Mars. It measures about 3 meters long and weighs 900 kilograms. Both Spirit and Opportunity, the Mars exploration rovers, are 1.6 meters long and weigh 174 kilograms. Compared to previous rovers, Curiosity's landing was not cushioned by airbags. Instead, due to its massive size, it took 3 tethers from the spacecraft's body called the Sky Crane to bring it to the surface. Discoveries from one of the rovers reveal the bedrock they have been driving over, since volcanic lava flows formed the first landing. Mission scientists called it a total surprise. They believe that the stratified rocks that Perseverance rovers took their images of were sedimentary. Perseverance's discovered rocks have signaled that they had relationships with water numerous times, and that some of them have organic molecules. These investigations could help scientists draw an accurate time frame for events that took place in the Jezero crater, the size of an old lake, and have broader effects on our knowledge of Mars. This finding was actualized at the American Geophysical Union Fall Meeting in New Orleans. Scientists have argued for many years if the rock in this crater is a sedimentary rock formed from the layers of material deposited by an old river or igneous rock made up at the time lava flows cool. Perseverance took this picture of the Jezero crater in April. Kodiak can be described as a flat-topped hill with ancient stratified rocks. Ken Farley, a Perseverance project scientist at the California Institute of Technology in Pasadena, states, "I was beginning to despair. We would never find the answer." However, everything changed when Perseverance began scraping away at the surfaces of rocks with a drill on the end of its robotic arm. The smoking gun was the crystals within the rock. Perseverance has a lot of sophisticated instruments that can capture images and analyze scraped rocks, which reveals their chemistry and mineral concentration. Pixel, planetary instruments, or X-ray lithochemistry are part of these devices. For example, in November, Perseverance utilized its instruments to analyze a rock that the team dubbed Rock. The findings detected massive olivine crystals surrounded by pyroxene crystals, which proved that the rock came from volcanic lava flows. Farley said, "A good geology student will tell you that such a texture indicates the rock formed when crystals grew and settled in a slowly cooling magma. For example, a thick lava flow, lava lake, or magma chamber." He also said, "The rock was then altered by water several times, making it a treasure trove that will allow future scientists to date events in Jezero, better understand the period in which water was more common on its surface, and reveal the early history of the planet." Mars sample return is going to have great stuff to choose from. The team intends to determine if the olivine-bearing rocks came from a subsurface chamber of lava that got later shown because of erosion, or if they emanated from a cooling lake of lava. Farley said, "This was entirely unexpected, and we're still trying to figure out what it means. However, I believe that this is not the original crater floor. We predict the original crater floor to be substantially deeper than where we are currently." Based on the diameter of this crater, Farley speculates that lava may have flowed down into the crater, but the original crater floor is beneath the rock. Over time, these rocks reacted with water, which formed new minerals. The minerals and samples collected can provide data about the climate and environment on Mars billions of years ago, and also the composition of the water. Perseverance has obtained 4 rock samples thus far, with the chances of gathering up to 37 more. Future missions will return these samples to Earth, which allows them to be analyzed in great detail and in many ways too. For example, the Jezero crater and its river delta samples could tell if life ever existed on Mars. The volcanic rocks would be dated adequately and with great precision if returned to Earth. However, these new samples could assist space scientists in establishing more specific states or features and events on Mars. According to Kelsey Moore, a geobiologist and postdoctoral scholar associate in planetary science at the California Institute of Technology, that will tell us whether the water there in the past was potentially habitable. The rover's Sherlock sensor, meant for scanning habitable environments with Raman and luminescence or organics and chemicals, also spotted organic compounds in the rock it tested. The presence of organic molecules could mean life before science or biosignatures. Organics can be made biologically or abiotically without the need for living beings. The Curiosity rover landed on Mars in 2012 to identify organisms in the Gale crater. In a statement, Luther Beagle, who is Sherlock lead investigator at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, confirmed that now that Perseverance has also found them, this helps us understand the environment in which the organics evolved. While further research is required to determine how these organic compounds came into existence, their presence provides scientists hope. That is because it explained that if life had existed on Mars, signs of past or contemporary life could also be preserved. Beagle added, "These samples will be a source of scientific inquiry and discovery for many years when they are returned to Earth." Perseverance has been using its ground-penetrating radar equipment, which remains the first of its kind to be tested on Mars. Brian E. Horgan, Associate Professor of Planetary Science at Purdue University and a scientist on the rover expedition, clarified the use of the equipment in a statement to peep into the subsurface and assess the structure of a rock under our wheels. As the rover drove across a ridgeline, the experiment had done many rock formations with a downward tilt detected in the radar data, which keeps on existing below the surface from the ridgeline itself. Instruments such as the RIMFAX can help scientists construct a more accurate Mars geologic map to grasp its past better. Perseverance performed wonderfully in 2021 with its amazing discoveries, and it would be going on to even more intriguing territory next year, the Old River Delta. This fan-shaped structure has intrigued scientists for many years, and Farley speculated that the rover would reach the delta in 6 to 8 months. The delta's rocks are probably sedimentary, trapping and conserving significant layers of silt from the river that previously flowed into the crater's lake. The samples could show if organic chemicals linked to life or perhaps microfossils got concealed inside the delta's ruins. In conclusion, astrobiology, particularly the search for the traces of ancient microbial life, is an essential whole for Perseverance's mission to Mars. The rover will examine the planet's geology and climate history, lay the roof for human exploration of Mars, and be the pioneer mission to collect and cache Martian rock and regolith, or broken rock and dust. Going by NASA missions in collaboration with the European Space Agency, a spacecraft is sent to Mars to gather all these sealed samples from the surface and return them to Earth for investigation. The Mars 2020 Perseverance mission is one of NASA's Moon to Mars exploration strategies, which includes Artemis lunar missions to aid our scientists' preparation for human exploration to Mars.